whichever team will win the national championship next year is going to be one big group all bought into the exact same set of values and beliefs. It won't be about one individual. There won't be a star player that is bigger than the program. It'll be a group that has exact ways that their team goes about doing things and executing all their actions to a really high level.
If a coach is recruiting you, like, how did you feel loved by the coach? Like, what are they saying to you?
To know if interest is real, it's like they're the ones that are always hitting you up. They're the ones being proactive, and they're the ones that are really seeing who you are as a player, and they're the ones who are thinking that you can do something for the program instead of you trying to sell yourself.
A lot of players don't realise like the power of playing in the NCAA, a top D1 school. Like, people are saying no to pro contracts to compete at a top D1 school. Like, why? What was your reasoning?
First of all, the resources in these universities, the facilities are better than some Premier League facilities, so that definitely can't go unnoticed. And then the platform to play in a high level where there's MLS teams watching week in and week out.
Were you the best technical player at Vermont?
No.
Why were you so successful?
I would say I was the hardest worker on the field consistently.
Why did the coach trust you?
Because he knew I was going to die for the badge, honestly, and I was going to sprint full pitch to try to block a shot when I had 0 left in the tank. And I think that's all you can ask for in terms of trust from a coach.
So, Andrew, what did you learn from playing college soccer? What's your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, I think a big thing that I took away from my 4 years so far in college was self-confidence and self-belief is so important. If you're looking anywhere that's not within yourself for confidence and validation, then you can start being inconsistent because you're not always going to have that validation. So once you start relying just on yourself and looking inwards, you can really be consistent and go on.
So you won a national championship at Vermont.
Yes,
so I'm a little bit hesitant to talk about this because I played at UNH and we don't really like each other that much.
Yeah.
But tell us about the national championship run at UVM. Like, everyone obviously looking from the outside is like, oh my God, that's amazing. I can't believe they did that. Like, from the America East. Like, Tell us about the NCAA tournament run. How was it?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, everyone kind of says that we came out of nowhere, but we definitely didn't feel like that. Like, we felt that we belonged to be there. We've had a couple good years before that, going deep into the tournament. And then that year there was kind of just a special feeling around it. I think the self-belief within the group was incredible and nothing could break that. And you saw that with the late goals and the comebacks and all these magical stories. It was kind of just a case where we were not going to lose, and it was a mindset thing, really. We had a really good team, but at the end of the day, we won the championship with our mindset, I think.
I think, like, it's interesting because I feel like at UNH we had a really good culture and the coaching staff like did a really good job of building a team. Obviously, the America East is very physical. It's very direct. Like, you need to have a team that is like ready to fight, ready to battle. Like, how important was the coaching staff at Vermont for creating that?
Oh yeah, like massive. Resilience was a big word used. Same type of culture thing where you got to be gritty, you got to be willing to do whatever it takes to win, even if it's not going to be the prettiest. And that's how we won. And in preseason and in trainings, the goal was to always make the trainings harder than the games will be. So it was definitely a grind, and there was never days off and never easy days. But it really does help on the field and gets you ready for a battle.
How would you describe, because there's obviously a lot of ups to a national championship run, right? You look at the end, you look at the trophy, you're like, wow, that must have been an amazing season. What was the most difficult part of that season?
Man, we actually started pretty poorly in the season. We had a new group. Nowadays it's kind of always a new group at the start of the college year with the transfers and the internationals. But yeah, I think we lost, and then we tied in our first like 2 games of the season, and everyone was kind of worried and kind of things weren't clicking. And then there was also a moment middle of the season where we tied 2-2 to UMass Amherst, and we were going into that game like, this is a big RPI game. This is big for us to try to secure an RPI spot for the tournament, and we kind of sold that game. Like, we didn't perform as well as we wanted to, and we had a talk on the pitch after the game, and the coaches kind of just were very confrontational with the whole group, and we're like, this is not going to get us to our goals. This is, you guys are beating yourselves. You're focused on other things, and it needs to be better, or we're just simply not gonna get where we want to be. So I would say to pinpoint an exact moment where the tables turned and we started accelerating, would be that UMass Amherst game, middle of the season, one of the last out of conference games.
And what did the coaches say? Were they like screaming and shouting? Were they just like, guys, this is like?
It was more like we were thinking we were better than we were.
But why? Because you hadn't been winning that much, or you didn't, or maybe did you win the conference the year before, or
no?
So why did you think like that?
I think we just knew we had a good team, and even in games where we would tie or lose, we felt very good about the performance. And then we were on a good run of games until that UMass Amherst game. And they were just like, you guys haven't done anything yet.
Would you say that you were a senior player in the locker room that year?
Yeah, I would say I was in the leadership group type of thing. I was a junior, and it was my second year playing. And then the next year I was captain. So I would say I was starting to get more and more responsibility.
So how did you get recruited to go and play at UVM?
Yeah, I think it was through a connection with my old club coach and Adrian Dubois, who's now the head coach, but at the time he was the assistant. I played for a club called New England Surf when I was
MLS Next or ECNL, or
no, it was USYS, National League or something like that. I did 1 year of that. But yeah, it was really just a connection where they had a really good friendship, and Jake Beverlin, who's the UMass Boston coach, and he really helped me a lot, getting me connected to those schools. And I committed junior year of high school, which was kind of early, but I really felt like it was the right spot.
So what level were you playing at? Because there's a lot of people that will be listening to that will be like, what the hell? He went from 100%. USYS to D1. Like, what happened?
Yeah, I was definitely, I would say for most of my youth career, I was not playing at the highest level. I was kind of always a diamond in the rough, and a lot of people have called me a late developer, which I kind of shy away from, but they're not wrong. And
but you're the late developer, but you still got recruited D1 junior year,
right?
Well, how?
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, I mean, I was a good player for sure.
So what happened? Did you play a game and the coach came to watch you and he was like, well, if this kid's good? Was it just the guy at UMass Boston was like, hey, you need to take this kid, and that's how it happened? Like, how was your first conversation to the signing day?
100%. So it was like, I think I sent a couple full game clips over, and then I think they came to a training in one of those like showcase 3-day tournaments on a Memorial Day weekend or something. And early days they were really interested, like they were ready to go. Or not ready to go, but they were like, it looked like it was going to happen very fast. And then it slowed down a bit. I went to England for a trial actually with Crystal Palace during COVID. And that was like the peak of their interest, and then it kind of died down after that. And then it took about 4 or 5 months of me actually, they were like, do we not have a spot for you? And I was like, okay, like let me text this coach every month, once a month, just to see if they've changed their mind. I stayed persistent. And after a couple months of that, he must have continued watching our games in the season. And we got on the call with the head coach on the Zoom. And from there, it was a commitment.
So it took you what, like a year, 2 years?
Must have been around a year of talking to UVM before committing.
And were you talking to any other schools, or were you only talking to UVM?
I was talking to, I would say, 6 other Division I schools, but I think the interest wasn't real. I think a lot of coaches will string you along just to keep you in their pocket if you need. But I think I could kind of tell if I was a school's number one option or not.
How? Because there's a lot of like I talk to players a lot, and I say, oh, what interest have you got? I'm talking to UVM, I'm talking to UNH, I'm talking to Amherst. I'm
Right.
like, oh, really? It was literally just like, come to the camp. So like, when you say like the school's showing interest in you, like if a coach is recruiting you, like how did you feel loved by the coach? Like what are they saying to you?
Yeah. So first of all, if I ever got like the come to the camp type of text, I kind of knew that the interest wasn't quite there, just because for me, I've always seen the camps as kind of a money grab and kind of just a publicity stunt, where it's like, if you come to this camp, 80% of our roster is on the team. Like, I think most of the players were committed before they went to the camp, and it's kind of for that stat. Um, I think that to know if interest is real, it's like they're the ones that are always hitting you up. They're the ones being proactive, and they're the ones that are really seeing who you are as a player, and they're the ones who are thinking that you can do something for the program instead of you trying to sell yourself.
But they were interested in you, but you still had to reach out for a year. So
Yeah.
why were you persistent? Because there'll be a lot of kids that would have given up. That'd be like, he hasn't texted me. Like, maybe I'm not good enough for D1. I'll go D3. Like, what was making you be like, okay, I'm going to keep going, keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you never give up, it's really hard to quit. Like, you just, if you really want it that bad, there's no difference from committing at 16 to committing at 18. You're both going to play at the same level. So I think I was definitely comparing myself to others who were committing very early. And I think like my family and my brother and my coaches did a really good job of keeping me grounded. And you kind of have to keep it in perspective. Like, even if I were to commit at 16, I wouldn't be going there until 18, 19 anyways. So it's not like just because a coach doesn't see you at 16 turning into the player they want at 18, you still have 2 more years to, like, those are massive development years. Like, you could go from, like me, I went from USYS to Revs Academy in a year and a half, 2 years.
How did you get recruited to go to Revs Academy?
I played in a friendly against their team for surf, and after the match they were interested, and I came in for a trial and kind of did the rest of the season training with them and playing with surf, and then the next year signed and played with their U19s.
What do you think about the comment that you have to play MLS Next to play Division 1?
I would say nowadays it definitely seems like that more because of the portal and the heavy reliance of international players. But it's definitely not impossible to not be an MLS Next player.
When the coaches, when you're a player on the team, do you feel like, because I speak to a lot of players that are 16 to 18 and they're complaining about the portal or they're complaining about internationals. Do you feel it on your team that like you get excited about international players and transfer players coming in, or is it something that you guys talk about at school?
It's definitely a talk about. Like, once the spring season comes around, it's like, oh, they're bringing in this guy from Germany. He played pro. This guy played at this level. Like, this guy's 22 coming in. This guy's married coming in. And it's like, it's intimidating. And it's like, oh, this guy's a midfielder and I'm a midfielder. Like, okay, that's the competition. And you kind of that's just how it is. And that's how it is.
I never thought about it like that, but like the young players are not complaining, but they're worried about it. But also the current players are worried about it too, because they're like, this guy might take my shot.
For sure. Like, I would say when you're kind of established in the starting 11, it's less of a worry and more of a like, oh, that's really good. We're gonna like improve as a team. But I think that was a difference from me at 18, 19 as a freshman, sophomore, and to me as a junior, senior. Like, I would really not worry, but I would focus on like the players coming in as the competition.
Do you think that you were ready as a freshman to play college soccer?
I think I was ready, but I don't think I was physically ready for that level.
Why?
I had never played against guys that age before, and it was definitely an adjustment period, I would say.
Why are UVM and other schools recruiting internationally? Like, why don't they just get all the kids from New England Surf or Boston Bolts?
It's definitely experience. Like, experience is the biggest thing that at least the coaching staff at UVM looked for, and it was all about who they can trust on the field. If they saw a player played at a certain level in Europe, they knew that they would be trusted to play in the America East at Division 1 level. Whereas a player coming from Bolts or Surf or even Revs, like, it's not men's football, and there's men in Division 1 now, so it's more of an unknown for a young guy to come in and compete right away.
How do I get college soccer ready? Like, if you were going back to your senior year of high school when you were getting ready to go to UVM, what would you have done differently, or what advice would you give to yourself to get ready to play college soccer?
Yeah, something that I actually did do differently was in the summer before going freshman year, I went to Ireland for the summer and did a preseason with an Irish men's club, and I think that helped me, even though it was
Why?
just
Why did it
preseason.
help you?
Just the physicality and getting used to playing with men, because you really you can get pushed around on the field, and also the speed of play is just different. So I think it's whenever you can play at a better level or a more intense level, it's only going to teach you, even if
Why does playing? Because I might listen to that and I'd be like, oh, I played men's football. I can go and play like in the UPSL, or I can play Sunday League. Like, what do you mean? How is playing men's football going to get me ready?
that's true. Yeah, I think the difference between UPSL or Sunday League and an Irish league or MLS Next Pro or something like that is the combination of the physical intensity with still having the quality on the ball. It's not just a bunch of brutes running around and bumping each other.
Mm.
So I mean, it's you don't want to be the best player on your team going into college, because when you go into college, you're not going to be the best player on your team most of the time. You need to punch up in your weight and know what it's like to compete against players that might be better than you, to be able to still show your qualities on the field.
So going into a national championship team, how would you describe the qualities and the characteristics? I'm not talking about like mindset, and we'll get onto that, but like technical ability, physical ability. What were the 11 players at Vermont winning a national championship as a footballer? What do those players have?
Yeah, everyone had a role, and everyone was really good at their role, and that's what made the system work. So the wingers consistently could put in a good cross. The the defensive mids could consistently win a challenge and bump you off the ball. The strikers consistently got in good spots and pressured the other team's back line and got shots on goal. The goalie obviously was amazing for us and did his job in stopping shots. So yeah, I think the combination of being able to play under pressure with the ball at your feet, and also know what the game needs in terms of, if they're pressing really high, we're just going to run it behind and play the
It's
ball behind.
interesting. It's interesting that, because I always thought, for when I was playing against Vermont, you didn't have like one player who was like amazing. Like at UNH, we had like Yannick, Paul, like Johan, like Bilal, Linus, all these like really technical, gifted players, and we were really organized. And I think the biggest thing of our success was the system, right? But I always think about like a UVM team, and I'm thinking like you didn't have like one player who was like unreal. You had like 11 players that were organized, a good system, knew their role, understood what they needed to do. And it's interesting because I feel like a lot of players think they need to be the best player on the pitch and they need to be like unreal. But I think like understanding what the coach wants you to do. I was never really that good athletically or technically, but I always knew what Hubs wanted me to do.
Yeah.
And I just did what he told me to do.
Yeah.
Like, how important was having a system, and how would you describe like the UVM like system?
Yeah, I mean, I think the system is you got to win your matchup. So yeah, maybe you're not the best player on the team, and maybe the team is not like riding on you to dribble past whoever and create all these chances. It was definitely a team effort, but you need to win your matchup. If you're playing right mid, you need to make sure the left back has a bad day. If you're playing center mid, you need to make sure the other center mid has a bad day. In terms of system, I would say from when you were playing and up until now, I think the quality of overall players has definitely gotten better, and we've definitely played a bit more footy, like a bit more ball on the ground and try to build out. But I think the system was really just, we're gonna outcompete you.
Mm. And how would you describe like because this was something that we always struggled with at UNH, was like we'd play these games and then it would get to like a tournament game, and we like, because the America East, stereotypically speaking, wasn't like a top level like an ACC.
Right.
How did you guys get over that when you got to like a national tournament playing like a big team? Were you worried? Were you like, we're not used to this? Like, how did you kind of like?
I think we would always be excited going into those big name teams. I think the coaches at the past 2 or 3 years did well with giving us a couple of big names in the out of conference schedule, which kind of prepared us for that because there is some America East games that just aren't up to the NCAA tournament level. But I think we were always ready for the challenge because we kind of wanted to put Vermont in that big name status, and we knew that those games are the opportunity to do so.
I always felt like Vermont had like a good like community, like with the students and everything. Like, how was like off the pitch your time at UVM?
Unreal. Yeah. Like the community it's definitely like a soccer state, especially with Vermont Green.
Yeah.
I think this year we sold out every home game, which was just incredible to play against or play at, like with fans that are actually watching the game and cheering you on. It definitely increases your performance. And off the pitch, I think like every once in a while you actually get recognized by a person you don't know, which was really cool, and you kind of felt like the Real Madrid of Vermont.
How does it go from after the national championship? Because you win, it's like amazing. You've done it. You've completed it. Like mission completed. You go back for your senior year. Are you like less motivated? Are you like more hungry? Are you people left to go pro? Like, how's the return?
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a worry within the group because obviously you have such a high. It's like, where do you really go from here? And I think honestly our group responded to it really well. I think we saw it as a challenge to show that wasn't a one-off thing and we're here to stay. And we went undefeated all of last year regular season and lost in the NCAA tournament. But I think if the only way we could have done better is to obviously go back to back, which is incredibly difficult to do.
Why is it difficult to go back to back? You've won it already, so why can't you do it again?
Man, it's this the expectations from the community was a lot, and the noise.
Why?
What do you mean?
Like the expectations from the community. Like, did you feel it? Like,
for sure.
Would they tell you, like, hey, you need to win today, or just people talking, or
you just expected to win? Like we were the defending national champions, and we were kind of just expected to win, and especially not having lost in regular season, the fans hadn't really felt that disappointment of losing. And it kind of all just came crumbling down in the NCAA tournament. We kind of didn't rise to the occasion.
And how was that feeling when you got kicked, when you lost in the tournament?
It's a shock. Like, I don't think anyone was really expecting it. We were riding a high almost the whole season. And it was like an overtime golden goal type of.
It was at home too, wasn't it?
It was a home game, and we were the number 1 seed, and it was definitely a shock. Like, I don't think anyone in the stands, because of our history of being able to come back and have these late winners and all that.
There was hope.
There was always hope, and for us to lose on a golden goal where we had been in the opposite side of that situation where we had won on golden goals, it's kind of just a bit of a taste of our own medicine and a bit of a like, okay, this is reality.
And so after last year, you graduate, right? So you graduated from UVM now, or on your way to graduating?
On my way to graduating.
So you finished playing college soccer. For your personal goals, Andrew, like, what are your personal goals as a footballer?
I want to play professionally at the highest level I can and play for as long as I can and until I don't have the opportunity anymore. But until then, that's my main focus.
So you finish at UVM. Did you try and get drafted? Did you try and get an agent to go to the USL? Are you thinking about, okay, because you have another year of eligibility? Like, what's going through your mind after you lose that game at Vermont?
Yeah. I was definitely excited about the draft. I talked to a couple agents, and there was a slight possibility. It's kind of the draft is a bit of an unknown world. Like, you don't really know until you get called. But that was something I was looking for, and unfortunately it didn't happen. But so then I thought of other routes to possibly get a contract this off season. And I actually went to Ireland and had a really successful trial with an Irish club. I ended up getting a offer, and they wanted me to play there. I think that it was a really tough decision, but I think that for me, I wanted to take the route of doing a 5th year and in trying
Why?
to make it
That's
go in the
interesting
US.
because someone might be like, you had a contract, you had it sitting there, and this is, I think, it's where it gets interesting because a lot of players don't realize like the power of playing in the NCAA at a top D1 school. Like people are saying no to pro contracts to compete at a top D1 school. Like why? What was your reasoning?
I think I think that first of all, the resources in these universities, the facilities are better than some Premier League facilities. So that definitely can't go unnoticed. And then the platform to play in a high level where there's MLS teams watching week in and week out. I think for me it made the most sense that I've already done three seasons here and I've built my profile up and I've improved every year. I think it would have been hanging over my head if I didn't do one last shot at a fifth year and see what happens in the US.
So what will you do for your fifth year?
For my fifth year, I'll be going to Northwestern.
And so I want to talk about the transfer portal too, because I feel like for you, it was probably, you had obviously a good resume. You won a national championship, so you have a lot of schools messaging you. But for some players, they think that, okay, I'm going to put my name in the transfer portal and everyone is going to message me. How was your experience in the transfer portal?
Yeah, for me, it was a very intense experience. It was like I put my name in and the next 3 days I had probably 20 different calls with different programs and coaches.
It's exciting though, right? Or it's just overwhelming or?
A bit of both, a bit of everything. And it's also very stressful, like, because you got to take in all this information of all these different programs. And then, so I kind of went through a window of taking in all the information and then going through my notes and boiling it down to teams that like I would really be interested in. And then you go from there, but it's definitely a lot for your brain to handle, but it's definitely exciting as well. For
how would you say is the freshman recruiting experience compared to the transfer recruiting experience? How is it different?
It's, for me, it was very different. The transfer experience is like, I think it's very much more transactional. Like you're gonna come in and you're gonna do this job for us for one semester, and then you're gonna continue on and hopefully go pro. Whereas freshman, or when you're coming in as a freshman, it's kind of like, okay, like this is gonna be your family for the next 4 years. We're not really telling you like what role you're gonna play or even what position you're gonna play. It's more of a come here to this environment and this is going to be your family for 4 years.
And you just said that the transfer process was quite transactional, but I'm assuming also it's transactional from your end because
sure.
you want a program that's going to develop you
For
and
sure.
that's going to get you pro. So
sure.
when you say it was transactional, like what type, when you're having calls with these coaches, like what questions are you asking to the coach?
Yeah, I think the main questions I'm asking is, how are you going to get me pro? Like, what's your connections? What's your plan for me? And then how do you see me fitting into your system and what role do you see me playing within your system? Those are probably the two main questions.
And why did you pick Northwestern?
Yeah, the coach was amazing. Russell Payne. He's been involved with the U.S. national team. I play in the Big Ten, which was a big factor for me. I wanted to go from America East to a conference where there's a bit more of a spotlight. And I think that the role that coach explained to me will really benefit me and put me in the best spotlight to show myself to these professional
Could
guys.
you have gone to the ACC?
Yeah.
Why did you choose to go to the Big Ten?
Yeah, it was a really, really difficult decision. In the end, it boiled down to the coach because for me, they both conferences held weight. For me, it boiled down to the coach and to the area and the facility.
What's your biggest piece of advice to a player that's searching for a college on having a good college experience? What questions you should be asking, what you should be looking for? Because a lot of players think, okay, just D1, label. You've obviously been through, and I'm like probably the best college experience anyone could have asked for. Like, if I'm trying to find a college, what questions should I be asking? What research should I be doing to make sure that this is the right place for me?
Yeah, something I would look at if I was going into college nowadays is how many players are transferring out of the program. If there's a lot of players transferring out of the program, it's very likely that there's not a lot of happy players in that locker room. it's also important to figure out if there is a team culture or not, because there's a lot of places I've heard about through like my friends and connections where it's kind of every man for themselves in the locker room, and it's where at UVM it was a family. Like there's guys on that team that I'll be friends with for the rest of my life. I'm sure it's the same at UNH.
But how do I find that out though? I'm 16, 17.
It's difficult. It's very difficult. I mean, going on a visit definitely helps. And kind of talking to the players instead of the coaches, because the coaches are always going to give you sunshine and rainbows. But if you can talk to a player, and maybe not even a player that's playing much, and see if they're enjoying it, even though they're not playing much, I think that would be a good way to figure out if the team is a good team, or if it's just a kind of a facade.
What do you think is the recipe for a successful college soccer player?
Yeah, I think you need to. It's a good question. I think you need to be hungry to always want more. I think you need to kind of destroy your ego a bit and really focus on the points that you need to get better at. And
okay, so I think I'm hungry, right? So I have this conversation with a lot of players, and I think I'm hungry, right? I'm going to train every day. I'm watching video. I'm going to the gym. I'm hungry, but no Division 1 school is coming to contact me, and the coaches always just don't show me interest. Like I think I'm hungry. Like, what does hungry mean to you? Like, how do you know if someone's hungry, or how do you know if you're hungry? Why would you say you're hungry?
I would say, no matter how much work someone else is putting in, I'm always making sure I'm putting in more work.
How?
Day in and day out.
How?
So if we're all going to training, team training, I'm doing an individual session as well. If we're doing lift after training, I'm doing lift the next day as well when we don't have lift. It's those little exponential bits where you can get a little bit ahead of your competition, and if you're really doing that and you're doing it consistently, you will get better than the other players.
Were you the best technical player at Vermont?
No.
Why were you so successful?
I would say I was the hardest worker on the field. Consistently.
Why did the coach trust you?
Because he knew I was gonna die for the badge, honestly, and I was gonna sprint full pitch to try to block a shot when I had 0 left in the tank. And I think that's all you can ask for in terms of trust from a coach.
How do you get the coach to trust you? How do you get to be the first name on the team sheet?
I would say consistently showing that you're gonna give everything you can to the team, and you're putting the team before yourself. So even if that means, I think for me, it was definitely a process. Like I definitely wasn't a solidified starter my first year playing, and by the end of it, I would say I was. And I think it came from just being willing to do whatever for the team in terms of taking a role that maybe I didn't want to, and not complaining to keep the morale up. So it was for me, it was a longer process. I didn't go from 0 to 100 in one season. It took me 3 years. But I stayed consistent and got there in the end.
So I'm trying to think, like, for a player that wants to be playing, and because I feel like a lot of players don't have the best relationship with their coach. How was your relationship with the coaching staff?
Every year it got better.
How? Did it start off badly, or just it got off better?
No, it was fine, but it was probably surface level at the start, and as we got to know each other more, it became more of a personal relationship where you're making jokes and you're trusting them to talk about your personal lives, and by the end, I would say me and Rob had a really good relationship.
How do you build your relationship with the coach? Because I think it's really important for young players to understand that, like, being likable is probably one of the biggest qualities you can be in a footballer. Because if you're likable, if the coach likes you, he's going to put you on the pitch.
Yeah.
And you talked there about you developed your relationship with the coach over time. Like, what advice would you give to a player to develop a relationship with the coach?
Yeah, I think just thinking on my experience and other young players that I've played with, I think when you come in, you're a bit intimidated by the head coach, and you kind of try to put them on a pedestal, and they're the head coach. They're not my friend. I think the players that I've seen that come in and do well right away see the coaches on more of a personal level, and aren't scared to show their personality to the coach.
Mm. What's been the lowest point of your college soccer experience?
I think an easy answer for me would be freshman year getting a season-ending injury in preseason. That was incredibly tough because when you're recruited, they're like, you got to go to a place where even if you're injured, you're gonna enjoy it. And I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get injured. And then what do you know? I got
What
injured.
happened?
I broke my collarbone.
Oh. So you're out for the year?
Yeah.
How was that like mentally?
It was like the lowest of lows, because not only am I not able to do what I came to Vermont to do, is like play soccer and get better. It really affects your social life. Like you're not, you only have one arm. So you're not able to do like everyday things, and you're kind of just there, and it got like very sad at times.
How did you deal with that?
I think I kind of became a culture guy within the team. I would be the guy that was playing music in the locker room. I would go hang out at the soccer house, and kind of just, I really made good relationships off the field, which helped a lot. And that helped me when I was coming back as well, because you kind of know the players even though you haven't played with them yet. But it was definitely tough. Like I was alone for a good
Did you have
amount of
like
freshman year.
roommates, or did you call your family and your parents, or?
Yeah, I had a roommate, and I had a good freshman class that I was close with. We lived in the same dorm, which was nice. So I definitely hung out with my two freshman friends the most, and then my brother, who played D3 at Skidmore, he was captain there, so he was a good like role model for me to talk to and vent to.
So, because if I get injured and I'm just like, yeah, but it's an injury, like you're at Vermont, big party school, like you're okay, you can't play, but you're a freshman anyway. You shouldn't have been expecting to play. Like you just go to college, have fun. Was that how you were feeling, or did you want more? Like,
I was going in there thinking I'm gonna play right away, even though I don't think that's what the coaches were expecting from me. I think by the end of that preseason, before the injury, I was gonna play, which was even more disappointing. But I was never. I always viewed college as a opportunity to further my soccer career. I never wanted to go to college for the party scene, or even, to be honest, for the academics. It was a soccer first thing for me.
so I didn't. It's interesting because I feel like a lot of players, they want to go to Europe,
Right.
and you had the option to go to Ireland, like 10-month season, play at high level, play men's football.
Yeah.
Why did you think college soccer was going to develop you more than in Ireland?
Yeah, I don't know if it would have developed me more, to be honest. But I think in terms of spotlight to a higher level, I think that for me, I would love to play in MLS. And college seemed like a really good spotlight where I already had a profile. Whereas in Ireland, I would kind of be starting over from scratch in a way. But it was a very tough decision, especially with the 10-month season. That was a big factor for me, because I could have been playing games right now.
Do you have an Irish passport, or like?
I have Irish and Northern Irish.
Oh wow!
And American. So I have EU, UK, and America.
And why don't you think about going to Europe or going to England?
I think my end goal as a player is to go to England.
But you want to go to the MLS first?
I think that would be a way to get into England at a level higher than a non-league or a national league.
So you, I'm trying to think, right? Because have you like built your network yourself, or have you had like good mentors around you, or have you had an agent, like, or how have all these opportunities kind of presented themselves to you?
Yeah, I would say I'm a very good networker. I've built a very good network. My dad, who's Irish, has helped me as well. But I've gotten a lot of opportunities from relationships with people, and people. It is really like connections will really help you in your career. So I would say relying on people and not being afraid to ask people for help, even or to put their neck out for you. Like you're never gonna find out unless you ask.
What's your, because I believe in like obviously relationships and networking. I think it's helped me a lot. I think I've always been very proactive. I've always been that connector, like in the friendship group. I want to play professional football. I want to play Division 1 college soccer. What's your advice to me to network and to get opportunities? What do I need to do?
Get a coach that really likes you, and then you really have to ask a lot from that coach because coaches know coaches. The coaching world is a big but very small world. People know each other. People know someone who knows someone, and you really want a coach that believes in you enough to put their name on the line to be like, you need to come watch this kid. I believe in him. Because coaches will do that. Coaches do that for each other. And for the coaching world, I believe it's all about relationships. So if you can get just one coach that truly believes in you and likes you as a person and as a player, they will use their whole network that they've developed their whole life just to help you.
And how do I find that coach? How do I get that coach to believe in me?
I think that's just your pathway. Like you play for a couple of different teams. If you don't stay with one team your whole career, then you probably keep moving around until a coach really likes you.
Because I'm saying that it's the player's responsibility, because you need to be likable and you need to perform. And if you're likable and you perform for any coach, he's going to help you out. So I think people too, like, say, no, Sam, I'm trying to build relationships. I'm trying to network. I'm trying to do this. But like, you have it in front of you. Like every coach at whatever level it is going to know someone that can help you out. So whatever level, you need to be likable and you need to perform.
For sure.
So
for sure, you need to be likable.
You know, how do I become likable? What do I need to do?
That's a tough question. I think the more you try to be likable, the less likable you are.
Really?
I think you just have to be genuine and authentic. And
do you think you're likable?
I would say I'm likable.
Why? What do people like about you when they've said, "Hey, Andrew, I like you"? What are some characteristics you have that make you likable?
I don't know. I think the fact that it's hard for me to answer that question is why I'm likable. I don't like to talk about myself a lot. I don't like. It was hard for me to even come to this podcast.
Yeah.
I was very nervous.
Yeah.
But I think just being a
good person.
Yeah, being a nice guy and treating everyone like they matter.
What in college soccer, like in UVM, I feel like you had some dickheads.
Yeah.
Was there people on your team that you didn't like?
Yeah.
Why, obviously not to name names, but what were some characteristics of players that were not likable?
I think players that like think they were bigger than the program and that they mattered more than someone else, so they could treat someone else worse just because they see themselves here. I think like whatever you're doing, like you need to whatever's on the field is on the field. But once you get off the field, you leave it on the field. Like you don't bring your, I wouldn't even say confidence. I would say like arrogance. If you bring that into the locker room and use it in your personal relationships with your teammates, I don't think your teammates are going to like you. Yeah.
Because I always thought, like, in our team, I thought the coaches did a really good job of recruiting the right types of people, to be honest. I think there was always, there's always one or two egos. And I think, to be honest, having an ego is important. If you're like a forward player, for example, you need to be confident. But I think that the coaching staff did a really good job of recruiting the right types of people. And like I said, UVM, I feel like you always had a good culture. Like if you were in the leadership group, like, what did you guys do to create a good culture in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, we had a good foundation. And that was another challenge going from the national championship year where the culture is probably at a peak into a new group. And that was something that we were kind of challenged on, especially with new players coming in with an ego, which, yeah, an ego is not always bad. Um, but it's kind of, you kind of just have to show them that this is what we do and this is how we do it. We put the team before ourselves, and there's no other option. There was a thing called the chicken coop that we like to reference where, um, in the chicken coop, if there's a chicken that the rest of the chickens don't like, the chicken coop is gonna kick that chicken out of the coop. So if you're a dickhead, the chickens are gonna get rid of that dickhead chicken.
That's a good one.
You know,
that's a good one. We should have done that more. How was I want to talk about like the social life too. I'm just curious. Like at Vermont, were you going? It's like a big party school. Were you guys going out a lot? You have fun. You have your moments, obviously, or
yeah. I mean, Church Street is an electric place. I don't know if you've ever been to Church Street in Burlington, but yeah. I mean, in season you try not to. I would say 2 or 3 times in season if you have a Sunday, Monday off.
How do you balance that though? Because it's very distracting when you're at a big school to, especially like, for example, your freshman year, you weren't playing. Like you could have very easily been like, I'm just going to get hammered tonight and go out and party. I'm 18, 19. Like, how do you balance the social aspect with the soccer aspect?
Yeah, I think if you stick to a rule of thumb of not going out the night before training, where you're really going to be training, sometimes it's a regen session, and maybe it's okay to go out. But if you're going out before training consistently, that's directly affecting your performance on the field. So that's a very easy way of balancing it out, because generally the coaches know that you're in college, you're a college student, you're gonna go to a couple parties, and I think our coaches are really good at that. So they would design times where it was okay and maybe even encouraged to go out with the team and build some team chemistry and have a couple drinks. And but I think
they trust you. They trust you. The level of player is self-policing.
Right. Like you know that your players are going to drink every once in a while in college. I don't think there's a program in the entire NCAA where the players don't drink in the season at least once. So it's about designing that and having that recovery time before.
Is there anything you would have changed about your college experience?
Honestly, no. Like my 4 years were top.
What's been the biggest takeaway from your 4 years at Vermont? Like, what have you learned that you didn't know when you were 18?
I think there's 2 things, and one was off the pitch kind of, where it was, and it's not like I didn't know it before, but I think I learned so much about people and how important people are in terms of making connections, and also how people act. I kind of learned just from not even the football side, but the college side, like just kind of observing people and all these, because Vermont is a very, like, there's characters that I had never encountered before. I'm from Cambridge. Like, I had never encountered some of the people in Vermont before. So kind of just expanding that knowledge of how they operate. And then kind of what I touched on before, where it's like you need to get your confidence from within. If not, and you're looking for your coach's validation, then your coach has complete control over you. And if you're out of favor, you're going to stay out of favor. So confidence is key. Like if you're a confident player, you're going to be playing good.
If I have low confidence, how do I get my confidence back up?
I would say if you have low confidence, it could be a couple of reasons why, but for me, it was always, I was comparing to my situation with other people's situations. And I think like once I started looking inwards at what I could be doing better, even if I truly 100% to the core believed that I'm supposed to be in a better spot than I am. Okay, fine, I'm not. There must be some reason some little pinpoint that I can focus on and excel at that. So if you look inwards and look yourself in the mirror, I think it's just you just have to. It's a tough question, honestly, because you can have low confidence for like so many reasons.
I think communicating and speaking to someone. Have you had a good like support network?
Yeah, my brother has been amazing.
Why? Yeah. Why has your brother been amazing? What's he done for you?
He keeps me grounded, and he is not afraid to say it how it is to me. If I didn't play good, he will tell me. He's not like a yes man, and he's not just like blowing smoke up my ass. Like, he's keeping it real, and it's just nice to have a different perspective, as you're saying. Someone from the outside looking in.
And just lastly, for someone that wants to go to college soccer and win a national championship, everyone says that they want to do it. What will be the teams or the players that actually go and win a national championship? What are they doing?
I think they are one group. Whichever team will win the national championship next year is going to be one big group, all bought into the exact same set of values and beliefs. It won't be about one individual. There won't be a star player that you know is bigger than the program. It'll be a group that has exact ways that their team goes about doing things and executing all their actions to a really high level.
That was a good answer. And just lastly, what is the biggest piece of advice that you would give to the next generation of footballers that are up and coming? They want to play college, they want to go pro, they just want to be a better human being. What's your advice to the younger generation, to yourself when you were 16, 17?
Yeah, I think, I don't want to be cliche, but like, if you really are disciplined and work as hard as you can, and if you never give up, like, it's really hard to fail.
What does like not giving up mean to you? Like, what does it mean?
It means, for me, shoot, I'm not starting. I'm gonna get back in the gym. I'm gonna get back on the pitch, and visually, like, I'm gonna put in extra hours. I'm not gonna just accept this role that's been handed to me. I'm not gonna accept this situation. I'm gonna do something about it.
Lovely. Guys, that was amazing. Andrew, thank you so much for coming here today. I appreciate it. It was a good episode. We'll tag his Instagram if there's anything that you learned or you thought was interesting. Pop him a message, but I appreciate that, mate.
Appreciate it, Sam.